Hello, this is Kenji from Sedona, and today I'd like to pose a few questions for you to contemplate deep within. There is great power in the asking of a question, but the question has to be expressed on the proper level. So I'd like to share with you some questions for your pondering within. And I'm speaking now from my experience in the world for many decades and how parents are raising their kids, how this younger generation, we call them the Gen Z generation, and even those that are following them, like how they are managing or maybe not managing their energies, their physical bodies, their life, and how parents are training and are teaching them that would, shall we say, enhance the kid's self-esteem. And having had my academic training in early childhood education and art therapy, humanistic psychology, basically the education of young children, because in part from lack of training and lack of guidance in how to raise a family, how to raise your kid, that perhaps humans on the planet are missing some key ingredients that if they had those ingredients, those elements would be able to raise society in a way that is more loving, more peaceful, more wise, using common sense to make decisions. So, given my research and understanding of how to educate these spiritually gifted kids that have been coming onto the planet. Actually, the first wave was around 1975. And there was another wave around harmonic convergence in 1986, 1987, again in the 1990s, and then at the turn of the century, and again at 2012. And now we have another wave in the 2020s. So the questions would be, have you raised your kids in a way that fosters the kids' self-esteem, their belief in themselves, how to navigate their world, be it in school or be it outside of the classroom? How is it that you raised your kids? Because it seems like pretty much in every family unit, there has been trauma and discord and misunderstanding and a lack of communication and compassion. Not in all, but in most. What would be some of the elements in raising a healthy kid, as well as you as a parent, educating yourself in a healthy way to where there is no blockages, shall we say, in any level of communication? From my observation, teens and young adults are being, how shall we say, influenced in a way that is not conducive to spiritual growth, to enhancing self-esteem, to understanding how to resolve internal and external conflicts within the family or in the world. So as you know, there is much influence through the media, through social media, through video games, through cell phones, through commercials and advertisements, none of which truly teaches about how to keep a healthy outlook on life, how to manage your physical body in a way that's healthy and productive, how to communicate without your cell phone to others, how to communicate to your parents. How many of you have parents that don't truly understand you or see you for who and what you truly are? How many times have you thought that you would like to communicate something to your parents but didn't because you instinctively knew they wouldn't understand you or they would ridicule you or they just simply wouldn't be interested? How many of you have parents that truly unconditionally love you and support you in whatever you do without judgment? How many parents out there have kids that are wandering in the world a little bit lost, shall we say, not knowing their purpose, not knowing how to manage and control their energies, be they their psychic energies, their emotional energies, their psychological energies. How many kids truly know their spirit, their cosmic soul? How many kids that you know are self-directed and self-guided, highly creative, highly sensitive, that maybe could use some management and guidance and direction as to where and how to focus their internal energies? How many of you have stifled your creativity because of what others have said to you, be it when you were young, be it when you were in first grade, be it when you first went to church or your first job? And looking back at your life as an adult, as a parent or an ex-parent, were there places in your early childhood where you shut down because of what others thought or said to you because they just did not know and did not understand? There are simple solutions to this educational crisis we have in the school system. We even have a crisis in the metaphysical realms too, as well. Here are some thoughts to ponder. Are you, as a parent, wanting or desiring your teenager or your young kid, be they 8, 9, 10, 13, have you had a desire to have your kid in a situation where they could learn from a mentor that has, shall we say, been around the block a few times, that can help guide your child in the right direction, in the sense of them learning about what it means to have high self-esteem, what it means to be able to communicate truly from the heart and the intuition? And are you wanting your kid to have more self-discipline and self-focus to where they can become self-directed spiritual beings, having a human experience through a physical body? How many of you as parents know that highly intuitive and yet are not finding a support or a platform in which to express their creativity and their knowing of things, just in life in general? How many of you have been praying for your kid to find a way to self-heal from any past traumas or experiences that have affected them emotionally and psychologically? As you know, this is a planet of pain and suffering, and we've just come out of the old Piscean age, astrologically speaking, where the default energy was healing through pain and suffering, or healing through conflict. We have now moved into the Aquarian age, where all that is changing into beginning to learn how to learn through joy, through peaceful cooperation, through high consciousness. So there are those of us out there, so to speak, unbeknownst to most of the population on this planet, that have been trained in the guidance and mentoring of psychic and gifted kids, of talented kids that are looking for a platform, a way to express their consciousness, their creativity, and their innate skills. So as an educator, which means to bring out in another what is inherent, that is the true purpose of an educator, of a teacher. And going along with that, the definition of healing or to heal is to restore to one's original integrity. You combine those two, to educate and to heal, and you have a more holistic approach to teaching and learning. So imagine this, that there are those of us out there that can provide one-to-one mentorship for these gifted kids in a very safe and sacred setting, where it be out in nature or in the classroom or even on Zoom. Kids learning how to become self-empowered, how to be themselves without restrictions, without a fear of punishment, ridicule, denial, or pushback. Imagine an environment where your gifted kids are learning about energetic healing, how to heal their bodies, how to help facilitate healing for other kids, their peers, how to understand social pressures and peer pressures, how to not be affected by all of that, and how not to be affected by the world changes and the tribal chaos that is upon the planet. Imagine kids being free to learn how to be gifted individual in a society perhaps that is not understanding their gifts or their talents, but are willing to be the pathfinders and the pioneers in setting examples of how it can be, how creativity can be, how spirituality can be incorporated into daily life, into the school system, into having your first job out in the world, so to speak. So there are those of us that have been trained through meditation, art therapy, self-healing perspectives, the creative arts, and how to bring out the best in kids and young people, how to acknowledge and support them as spiritual beings, how to connect with their cosmic soul so that they know that there are people that can see them, can know them, can feel them as to who they truly are, so they can begin to create their life in a way that expresses harmony, balance, enthusiasm, joy, and love of life. And there are those of us out there in the world that truly care about the children and the young adult. And we're here to help them in whatever way, be it through mentorship, small group learning, curriculum, nature walks, Zoom gatherings, small retreat, where they can begin to learn not only how to meditate and how to take care of their bodies, but how to manifest their dreams, their visions, their creativity. There are simple yet very powerful ways to teach the younger generation how to be a thought leader, a way shower, a pioneer, to be the example for others. Now, if you want more information on this subject matter, please go to my website, click on the button below, click on the link below to learn more about what I and even others have to offer. We are here for the kids. We are here for the psychic kids, the new age kids, whatever you want to call them, the new millennials, Gen Z, the crystal kids, the rainbow kids, the starseeds, the indigos. We have been trained through many lifetimes on planet and off planet to be a support team for these new generations. Have a very wonderful day. Please feel free to contact me in any way possible. Many blessings to you and have a beautiful life.